Hi, Kasper.
Hi, Kasper.
How are you?
I'm really well.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
I am 7.
A 7?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Where are you?
That's it's close to the weekend. 7.5, 8.
Mm-hmm.
So, not bad, not amazing, but pretty decent. Like it's a decent score, right?
That's
7.
good, but
Yeah.
that's the perfect well to propel into the weekend, I think.
Yeah.
And I will go to a 10.
Right after this one.
No. I'm moving into a 10 for this episode.
For this, yeah, because of what I'm saying now.
Exactly.
Yeah, like right now, like not the episode, but now.
In this moment.
What does a baby computer call his father?
Let me think about it.
Data.
Oh my God. But you moved into a new level of I appreciate the jokes. So that's like.
Are you a 10 now?
I'm absolutely
9.5 maybe.
I'm absolutely a 10.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's also like we did a few interviews in this recording spree.
Yeah.
Like some really interesting interviews with some really interesting people. So you kind of always also like, how's this gonna go? How are we gonna do it? Like the human side of it also takes a toll of it.
Yeah.
And actually, between recordings, I found out that one of the visitors that we had in the studio
Mm-hmm.
in the spare time actually identifies as an owl.
An owl?
Yeah. It's quite good info, right?
Is there's no more to that statement?
Unless you're curious.
Is it? I think it's going over my head.
Okay, you're supposed to say who. Okay, it's wasted on you.
Who?
Exactly.
Okay.
What are we going to talk about today?
So, in one of the previous episodes, you told me that the average data quality across companies
Mm-hmm.
is 50%.
Yeah.
Meaning 50% of the activities that companies are running on paid, as an example,
For instance. Yeah.
for instance, is not possible to attribute it, or they don't track it. Right? It doesn't have a UTM or CID or.
Yeah, and it might have some sort of tracking, but it's not tracked consistently, so
Not-
that you can compare the efforts.
Good.
Yeah.
I have the solution for it.
Yes.
So, and this solution doesn't require any tagging.
Okay.
It doesn't care about cookies. Doesn't care about IDs. It's the solution for everything. It's.
Are you hearing this? I'm listening.
It's the next best thing after bottled water. I mean, it's marketing mix models.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because it's Adobe has a new solution.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, new solution. It's Adobe Mix Modeler.
Yeah.
And we've started running some proof of concepts on it for clients.
Mm-hmm.
And it has some fantastic results.
Okay.
And we'll get to the details of it, but point being is that, the 50% that you can't track
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter.
How?
We'll get to that. So let's just talk about first like the attributions that we know and are familiar with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have our single touch attribution.
Mm-hmm.
First click, last click. Pretty classic.
Yeah.
Even though there's only those two, I think there's a lot of discussion within marketing on which of the two should we be using.
Absolutely.
Right.
And is it dead?
Sorry?
Is it dead? Is attribution dead? Is also a topic that
Also a
keeps
topic,
maybe
right?
in provocation. But
And running attributions in Adobe Analytics and then looking at the attributions that Meta or Google is doing is a complete mess.
Yes.
Right. Because they want to attribute themselves typically. To some degree, right? Then we have multi-touch attribution, which is typically the U-curve or J-curve or you name it, right? In Adobe Analytics, you have the option of selecting both between the single attribution and the multi-touch attribution. And typically it would be a discussion on which attribution model is right for us as a business.
Yes.
And
which one is right?
Exactly. Right?
Yeah.
Like, test them out, see which one works best, but reality is, it's not like there's a set recipe for, you're in this industry, you should be using the U-curve.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's a it's a strategy you choose based on what you're trying to achieve, I guess.
Exactly.
Approve,
whatever,
okay.
right? And we're still depending on that we have correct tracking in place. So the 50% that you were talking about is messing up our attribution models.
Every day.
Every single day. Then there's marketing mix models. And that's part of the solution that Adobe has created.
Yeah.
Right? So the models I'm familiar with right now is Meta's Robin, and Google has one called Meridian, or the solution called Meridian.
Yeah.
And honestly, there might be a lot of investment or work going into these models at the companies. With the clients that we're working with, it's not something that I see them doing.
Okay.
I think it might be due to they want to own the data and don't want to be sharing it with Meta or Google.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Or they might be doing it without me knowing it. That's also an option.
That's definitely also
probably
an option,
the biggest reason for it. But nevertheless, the purpose of these is that you aggregate your data on a weekly basis, and it is both online and offline data.
Yeah.
And you then feed it to the algorithm or to the model. It runs and tells you, how data is correlated, which one is performing better. You get the incrementality of, how your marketing spend is going.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether you've tagged up your campaigns because you're getting, you would extract data from Facebook. What are the campaigns you've been running? You would be extracting all the online purchases that's been happening.
Yeah.
The offline purchases, aggregated into one big file, upload it, and then the model figure out, you were running, X amount of spend on paid. Here's the effect it had, both online and offline.
Yeah.
Right?
I've been ranting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
And to my question, I've been ranting a lot about the issues with big data and how we perceive big data. This sounds a bit like a new big data thing if you want to have everything into one. But what you're saying is that this is exclusive for marketing efforts, which kind of takes it out of the hassle of being cross business.
Yeah. So we're not just taking all the data. We're taking relevant data.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So it would be all the campaigns we've been running on Facebook. Campaign data from there, campaign data from Google. Yeah. If we've been running any TV ads, we would be importing that data as well.
Okay.
And what's interesting is that it's going to be showing the impact across channels.
Yeah.
Right. So I can see, well, I spent X amount of dollars in Facebook, but I can also see it had an positive impact offline.
Yeah. How does it attribute across?
So we're not depending on whether there's a UTM parameter or an CID parameter passing the data to Adobe Analytics. Yeah. I could be importing weather data and see how that's impacting.
Yeah, that's clever.
I could
like Coca-Cola. Good old story, right?
I don't know the story.
So,
but I bet it's great.
Looking at that, they actually sold more cola at certain temperatures around the world.
Oh.
And figuring out that maybe that would impact how they went to market. Coca-Cola has also been known, and these are like 100 years ago from putting up billboards in different cities and seeing how it reacted in Chicago versus Atlanta versus stuff like that. So back to
and I don't want to start a rumor.
Yeah.
But that's where global warming started.
Billboards.
Coca-Cola, because the warmer the weather, the more colas they sold. No, I don't know.
This is the biggest marketing investment.
Anyway,
I have one question.
Yeah.
If Adobe is creating this tool as an alternative to the existing tools that's out there, correctly understood?
Correctly.
Yes.
Correctly. They're taking a slightly different approach as well.
Yeah.
I just want to add, we talked about data bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
I could potentially also be adding in data on my competitors.
Yeah.
And see
How
if
so?
they have any activities that's impacting me positively or negatively. Because I start seeing the correlation between all the data that I'm onboarding.
So in terms of like how we used to use listening tools and stuff like that, or
yeah, potentially. I mean, I could be importing that they were running TV ads or that they were running a certain campaign at a certain time, and see how that impacted my business.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not just my owned data.
Mm.
It could be data that I can publicly get access to as well.
Yeah. So now we no longer only have the headache of our own data. Now we have
headache of other points of data.
But it pushes in the direction where we need to decide, like, why would we have this data? Why would we need it?
Exactly, right.
Yeah,
there should be a purpose with it, right?
Yeah.
And so it uses these regression models to run it, right?
Yeah.
So as you said, Adobe has built their own tool on it. And the story behind it is that they were running these models themselves.
Yeah.
Their BI team was doing it.
Okay.
And then they turned it into a product. And as I said, fantastic story, right? I don't see a lot of Nordic or EMEA clients using Adobe Mix Modeler. We are running a few proof of concepts, but I think it's something, regardless whether they use Adobe solutions or not, I think it's something clients should start looking into, running these marketing mix models, right?
Absolutely. I do think we have a few I think it's in the Nordics and in Denmark. I see quite a few doing it.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting because like how it's imported, but it also opens a different conversation about like where I'm coming from. Like what is the data that we feed these models, right? How do we name it? How do we? What is the quality of it and all these things?
Absolutely. One of the things that Adobe is doing different. So when we talk about these multi-touch attributions, these are very event-driven.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the marketing mix modeler, they are very, top-level aggregated data.
Mm-hmm.
What Adobe is doing is it's taking both of those signals, the aggregated and the events, and is running those on the models.
Yeah.
So they provide some models. You can create your own models. You upload ideally 2 years of historic data. You need to do that on Meta's and Google's as well. So that's not anything different. And then you get the results, and it can also predict, saying like, if I spent, X amount more on this channel, how is this going to be impacting my performance?
Yeah. But I guess it makes sense as the Adobe uses, just as people who swear to other things, but like a very like the tool pack is going from the same place.
Yeah.
So it's if they feed this into the data lake and they start to having this granularity, obviously they need some sort of data quality to ensure that that granularity is usable.
Yeah.
But then it can essentially afterward it feeds the triple M setup, which makes a lot of sense. But would this same data lake also feed all the other tools? So
so the way Adobe Mix Modeler works is that you can onboard data that's in AAP.
Yeah.
Right. So you can onboard data into AAP. Adobe Mix Modeler has access to it. If it's in AAP, you can create segments, real-time CDP, CGA, you name it. Okay. Right. But I just wanted to use this episode to give a shout out to marketing mix models, because I don't think it's a word that's been, I don't hear it mentioned a lot.
No.
I hear it mentioned more recently.
Yeah.
But it was not a term that I heard mentioned, 2 years ago.
No. But it's a very warm topic, and to be honest, we hear it a lot, but we always come sideways into these conversations.
Yeah.
Because often you would start them, the Triple M conversations and get the tools, as we talked about many times before as well. And then the people starting using the tools and starting to figure out where we're going with this, how we are impacting, looks at the data, and back to the 50% that you talked about, and say, hey, we need to fix this as well. So to your promise at the beginning of this episode, it does solve a lot of things.
It does solve a lot of things.
Definitely solves a lot of things.
And I think it's probably primarily the paid search teams that is familiar with the term.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But the model doesn't really become like really valuable unless you start onboarding all these other offline data.
No, exactly.
Right.
The completeness.
Which the paid search team sometimes is struggling with.
Yeah.
Getting access to, right?
Yeah.
But when we talk about Adobe and we have the AP platform, a lot of those data is already in the platform.
Yeah.
Right. CRM data, offline sales, call center data, things like that is already in the platform, and is ready to be used in these models, right?
Yeah.
And I guess a typical discussion that I'm hearing as well is, which channel is performing best, because reality is that all these channels inside an organization is somewhat siloed, right?
Yeah, it's optimization in siloed channels for many.
Exactly, right.
And the question that you're asking here is essential, because I feel that's because the real question in marketing often, when we talk about seeing cross channels and all these things, is like, where do I best spend my next marketing dollar?
Exactly.
Or whatever currency you're using. Yeah. And that's a difficult question to ask, because the answer is complex when it's siloed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not there when it's siloed. So I think what's really interesting about the marketing mix modeling is that you open up for cross or unsiloing. You should definitely optimize in silos, but like having the data available cross silos so you can evaluate it in the right way is definitely something that we should overall talk more about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really interesting is that you now also can start predicting what happens if I put more spend in to one channel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then see what impact it has. So
interesting.
So the whole purpose was just for me to give a shout out to marketing mix models and encourage people, listeners, to start looking into that if they're not already doing it.
And I love that it's opening up the topics about like the weather report in yours, and it's fluffy, but I think there could be some successes for many brands actually in looking into to making smaller projects that impact larger scope of your business.
Yeah.
With these things that might be an easier way to start than saying, hey, we need complete data across everything we do. Like let's take the data we have and combine it with a weather forecast or a location forecast or something like that. That could probably be prestige projects in this and awards probably also, right?
Potentially, right?
I mean, like that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I'm here and I'm hearing about marketing mix modeling and think it's interesting, like what are the next steps? Like how do we bring this forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. So typically there might be an BI team looking into something similar existing in the companies, but as mentioned, Meta and Google is also having models available.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anyone is interested in knowing what Adobe Mix Modeler can do, feel free to ping me on LinkedIn. And with that said, final note, you heard it here first. Coca-Cola started global warming.
That's the announcement. We'll go digging and find more interesting news about brands out there for next episode.
Cool.
Thank you all for listening in. And Casper, thank you for sharing this topic. It's interesting, and I think there's a lot of both possibilities and caveats in it. That's so interesting talking about.
Absolutely.
But absolutely having a solution where we can start looking at this opens new doors in marketing.
Absolutely.
Nice. Until next time.
Until next time.
See you.